Hello, anybody that's watching. About ready to start painting the final Krieg Commissar of the Forgeworld set that they don't make anymore. It's really hard to get your hands on a group of these. We did the first one on the first night last week before last, something like that, I don't remember. The second one we started on Sunday, didn't get the chance to finish that one yet, but that's okay. And now here on the third one, we're gonna finish this guy out, or do him in one entire sitting. So get comfortable. You'll be here for a little while. Don't mind the train. He's already been primed Abaddon Black. Let me see if I can actually get a better picture. Hold on. Oh yeah, there we go. That looks pretty good. He has the choice between a power sword and his last pistol. I couldn't decide, so I decided to pen it instead. It's kind of difficult to see, but there is a hole there in his wrist that I drilled, just big enough for a paper clip. I've also drilled a hole into his last pistol, the wrist in the last pistol, so that it has something to plug into. It's already got a paper clip in it though, so it'll make it easier to paint. Well, it's separate from the model too. I'm not worried about the power sword. I've just left that separate. I'll come back and do that at some point in the future if I feel like it. We'll start with the black like we always do. We're going to do his undercoat as well as his pants with Mechanicus Standard Gray from Citadel. And we're going to highlight the black of the greatcoat and any other black surface that is on him with the Mechanicus Standard Gray as well. That's going to be our thick edge highlight. Get some paint on the brush, but not too much. And we can go to town. It's okay if you end up painting over some of the other parts that aren't meant to be black. I just got a little bit on the boot by accident, but that's okay. We're going to come back and paint those with brown later on anyway, so we don't have to be particularly clean with that. For that reason, I like to start with the largest surface area of color first. Makes it way easier to use larger brushes, knowing that you can just go back and clean everything up that you messed up, or are just going to paint over any mistakes that you made eventually anyway. Got a base coat down for the gray parts now. Actually, got to do his little sleeves too. Can't forget the other arm. He's nice enough to put his hands in his pockets for me, so I don't have to worry about painting all those little digits. Looks cooler that way anyway. He's got like a little bit of a tough guy pose on him. Lets everybody else around him know that he's serious business. He is not kidding around. And you better believe that too, or he'll shoot you. He's on your side. Go back up and touch up these base coats with one more coat. They ought to be dry by the time I get back to them. Make sure we paint the gray along the inside of the coat as well. Turn this up just a little bit. There we go, that looks way better. We wash our brush out real quick. Don't want any of the paint to dry and settle into the bristles. I've been using some of these brushes for a very long time, actually. Just gotta make sure you take care of them. They'll last you forever. This is just a cheap set too, is the best part. It's something I'd had to have picked up at Walmart or whatever store a long time ago. You don't need nice and expensive brushes to paint well, although it does help when doing a lot of the smaller details. We're going to highlight the cloak now with the same gray. And we just want the raised surfaces, wherever the light catches it. Gives the cloak volume. Going around the back side, he's got all these little folds and creases and everything. And these little details that are so much fun to paint. do a little bit more here on the cloak. Just run along the edge with the gray. And make it a little thick. We are still going to come back and edge highlight that again later with an even brighter color. Don't forget the lower rim of the hat. It's got to hit it at the right angle. Top of the visor. Touch up the little face plates on the side of his helmet or his mask. Right. We're looking pretty good. Go to Dawnstone now. Keep our nice thick brush out. We'll use this to do a nice thick edge highlight on all the gray that we just painted. But just the undercoat, and the pants. The sleeves too. All right. I'm going to get my fine detail brush and get into doing the thin edge highlights. This is for the black. Just along the tops of our folds. Creases, don't want to do too much. Kind of paint inside the gray that you did before. Just want to give it a little bit more volume. Slowly making our way around. Get the undercoat. A little bit on the rim. And a couple dots on the visor up here, on the top of the Commissar's cap. Right. Almost forgot the collar. Hold on. And the inside of the helmet too. Alright, we're done with the black. We're going to finish the gray, Administratum gray. Ooh, you know what? Let me try to see if there's any way for me to plug in my mixer. That would be very nice. That's way better. Here we go. Right. And this is just the edge highlight for the gray. And the same thing as you did on the black. collar. Alright, looking spiffy, Commissar. I'll trim the sleeves. A little too much there. Oh well. You paint back over it with the Dawn Stone. There we go. Like it never happened. I might just trim the split in the back of this cloak too, why not? Right. We'll do our red next. Starting with Mephiston red. Get in there and do his waistband. And in the process, stop painting over everything else we just did. Oh boy. That was pretty sloppy. we'll come back and clean up all the mistakes after I'm done with the entire color, as I'm sure I'm just gonna end up painting over those same spots again. Get the cap. When we paint this trim, we maintain the gray we painted previously. Right, looks pretty clean. We'll give him a red ribbon. Go over them one more time, make sure there's no more red spots on one of the paint. I think I'm good. And we'll wash them. I'll be using Nuln oil for the wash. Just very carefully and gingerly run it over what we painted previously. You don't want to leave a whole bunch on it. Especially on large flat surface areas like the Commissar's cap. If you let it sit or pool anywhere, then it will just create weird splotchy dark spots. Right. Now for Evil Son Scarlet. Actually, before we do that, I should paint the last pistol too. Almost forgot that existed. Just kind of very carefully, quickly edge highlight all of this. There's some metal parts and everything on here too, and we're gonna do a little dot of red on the jewel above where the magazine is inserted. Make it look like it's nice and bright and charged up. We're going to paint the Dawnstone on the gloved hand and skip straight to the, or no, I think we're just going to do it all the same, why not? Try to get all along the top of the pistol, around the little feed ramp, not feed ramp, but ejector port they have on a laser gun for some reason. I'm not here to ask questions. I don't want to understand. Alright, we'll come back to that when it's time for the metallics. Or no, you know what? We'll just go ahead and get that glow out of the way. Ooh, should we get this a good shake? Whenever I do whites, these Vallejo's Game Color Dead White A little higher, there you go. Just need a small little bit on the palette, somewhere off in the corner. There we go. Don't need a lot for this. We'll look for a little dot somewhere. He should have one. Maybe not. We'll make one. There we go. And I use ball red contrast when I want to do nice, simple, glowing red. Let's get the brush right in there. We're not even going to bother putting it on the wet palette. Not only paint it on the red, but get it just a little bit around the area too. Or on the white, I should say. There we go. And blow on it, help it dry. And we'll take just a smidgen of that white. A little thin, don't want it too thick. And paint just over the center of it. There we go. We're done with that for now. Back to the Evil Sun Scarlet. I'm going to do our thick edge highlights on the red. Now that it's all nice and dry from the Nuln Oil. Make sure we get that great coat trim. Trim the cap. Make sure to respect the gray trim below it. Can't forget the collar. All right. And last for the red is the Fire Dragon Bride. Don't need a lot of this. You just want to do the tippy-toppy little corners. Little visual separation. Little dots on the rim of the tip of the cap. All right, we're looking good. Hello. Welcome to the bench. We'll do our yellow next. This is going to be for the mask, the trim on the chest, a little French fries at the end of the end of our scarf here, as well as the tassels on the pauldron. Going pretty good. Cranking on through. We're using Averland Sunset for this base coat. Keep using my smaller brush just because it makes it a little bit easier to get into all these little details without painting over anything else. We'll start with the mask. They're holding all kinds of interesting angles in order to get into all of these little areas. While that base coat is drying, push it back just a little bit. Give us an angle to paint the details on the chest. sure we're painting it on the side of the brush instead of the tip of it. Might have gotten just a little bit on the spaces in between, but that's okay. We'll just go over it with Nuln Oil. It'll fill in those recesses for us again with black. Right. These little guys down here. He's not a McDonald's commissar. Put a little bit more paint on there. There we go. Really want to cover up that black underneath of it. Try to take my time and paint very carefully and slowly. Try to make sure everything looks nice and clean. Whew. So how are things going for you? Are you working on anything? Got a certain faction? Maybe a totally different war game. Ooh. What variation? Is that the right word? Variation? Or do they have like an actual name for the different... What variant? The variant of Land Raider. There we go. And I'd hope it's Loyalist, right? Of course. Oh, I love me a good Redeemer. I think that's the one that I've got mine currently kitted out for right now. I had a lot of fun rolling that around the board full of Terminators. How terrifying. I did play a whole lot of Space Marines when 10th edition had initially dropped. Started to lose a little bit of interest though. Ended up going to Tau for a little while when their book dropped. Realized all the issues with that. What a mess. And finally got my hands on all the Krieg models that I wanted. The Flamer variant, even better. There you go. That is the one that I run. Because nothing is more terrifying than getting charged, getting overwatched by the Redeemer first, after you moved up the board and shot all your infantry off with the flamethrowers, then getting overwatched by it when you moved, and then having all the Terminators jump out with the assault ramp and just start messing everybody up. Absolute horror show. What a deal. Go back and do one more little layer on these. Pieces across the chest. There we go. Make sure they're nice and vibrant. We're going to go and paint all these studs. Silver? Gold? I don't remember. Silver. I played Ultramarines. Ran mine with Terminators and gave him one of the Terminator captains, I think. Or maybe... No, I had Marnius with them. Whole Terminator squad with Marnius Calgar. That was a whole lot of fun. Had a blast going to some of the local tournaments and just running it right up the center of the field and saying, hey, can you kill this in one turn? Because if you can't, this whole midboard is pretty much mine. Otherwise, they're just going to be all in your deployment, locking you down, slowing you down, messing you up, doing a whole bunch of damage, killing some of your battle line, your infantry, your objective holders, and locking up tanks and vehicles and heavy units. Alright. Clean up some of what I did with the red here. Paint it over some of the gray. There we go. Whoops. Ooh, even better. What do they give to Flamers? Don't they give something to Flamers? It's not like an extra strength or anything like that, is it? Don't you, like, maybe it's like further range or something like that? I'd have to look it back up again. It's been so long. I'll probably be painting a Salamander next Wednesday, depending on how this goes. I picked up the Space Marine Adventures box set, and I think one of them is a Salamander, so Do one of those next, just to get away from all the dark colors of the Krieg, for a little bit at least. I'll be back to painting them again. Maybe when I do come back, I'll do a vehicle. That'd be interesting. We're good on the yellow base coat with the Avalanche Sunset. We'll go back to the normal with the shade. Don't need a bunch, just a little. I'm gonna get some over the French fries. There we go, that's good. Epaulets. Let it run into those recesses and really define each of the little tassels. Don't really have to do a whole terrible amount to get it to do what I want. Capillary action just kind of lets it run right into the recesses for me. All I have to do is touch nearby. We'll get into the chest and you'll see how it'll fill in those lower areas that I put some yellow in by mistake. There we go. I can't even tell. Oh, look at that. Not to get too close. So trying to find the sweet spot. Oh. Oh Lord. Assault on every flamer. Whoa! +1 strength within 12 too. Oh man. Yeah, the Redeemer with a whole bunch of you can put aggressors in Land Raider, right? Aggressors and a Land Raider Redeemer, Flamer aggressors. Whoa, man. That's messy. That's a lot of dead infantry. It's got heavy flamers on it, so that makes that strength 6. You'll be absolutely obliterating Guard equivalent models and still winning Space Marines on 3Fs, but that's okay. You'll be winning Terminators on 3Fs too. Oh, 10 Infernus Marines, okay. They force a battle shock test if they shoot somebody, don't they? I got those with the Leviathan starter set and have never actually used them. Well, actually, it's not true. I did use them once in my very first game of 10th edition just because I wanted to try it out and we wanted to see what everything could do. And I haven't touched them since then. I think there was a reason. The Mastodon is a fantastic model. That thing is so big. I've never seen one in person, but the pictures I have seen, holy crap. One day. Fill in these little creases right here. Really want to give some definition to the mask. There we go. Sorry if I don't respond immediately. I do have the chat on a third monitor, slightly off to the side, but not directly in front of me. I need to mess with my setup a little bit more and make it a little bit more cohesive for me. Easier to manage stuff like that. I feel bad when I have to go in and paint something with some focus. You could put a Dreadnought and a Mastodon. like a Redemptor Dreadnought, or like the old school Dreadnoughts, or does it not care? Is it just Dreadnought keyword? Because if it's just Dreadnought keyword, then wow, that would be incredible. I mean, what do you do? Oh no. Oh. Oh man. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. I do love my dreadnoughts. I might have three of each between the Ballistus, Redemptor, and what was that new third one? Brutalis. Cyclonic Melta-Lances on a Leviathan and 2 heavy flamers. That's just a lot of pain. Put a Tech Priest in there too for funsies. Give the Leviathan +1 to hit. Why not? This is Uriel yellow. I'm highlighting the washed Averland Sunset with. Oh man, that's a lot of damage. With Assault, right? Yeah. And +1 strength, because of course you're going to be within 12 inches. Why wouldn't you be within 12 inches? Is he doubling down on the ranged weapons, or do they still get the choice of taking one of the melee ones as well? I know he's Legends, but he's still fun to talk about. I've got one of him. Alright, there you go. Well, you give him a little bit of melee, or keep the double weapons. Whatever works. Currently building a Baneblade, the Shadow Sword variant. Why stop at 1? Just go ahead and get to, just build the Octo Blade. Why not? Pick all 8. That's what I did. It's brilliant. You don't have to choose. You can have it all. The new Saturnine stuff? I don't know how to feel about that. I like the old Saturnine stuff because it's kind of goofy, you know? He has got big shoulder pads. And GW remaking them for Horus Heresy and plastic was not something I thought they were ever going to do, but I mean, I guess that makes sense because that's when they were around. But they're still kind of goofy looking. But yeah, I suppose there's a charm to it. If I'd owned any of the original ones, it'd probably be a lot more exciting to see them recreated, but I don't know. Somebody posted a picture of what they'd have to look like inside of it, physically, wearing the armor, and I just can't get that out of my head. It looks so goofy. But then again, Terminator armor in general has always been like that, so in that case, why not? They look pretty cool. I had to sit down and take an actual real good look at it, though. I think the last I seen of it was just the leaked photos. I haven't had much time to check out Warcom and see what they were saying about it. I did see that the new Dread is way bigger than even the Leviathan. I don't even know how that makes sense or what that's even supposed to be. There's a lot to unpack there. I'm done with the yellows now. That'll be the gas mask, the pauldrons, and the French fries at the end of his belt, his chest. We'll do his boots now. Mix up my base color. I like a nice darker leather for the boots. I start with Rhinox hide. I will have to take I'll take a closer look at some of the Saturnine stuff. I suppose nothing's really stopping you from using those in 40K. It's been interesting having played the game long enough to have seen them have rules for them originally, and then try to consolidate them into lesser, like smaller groupings for rulings, to completely getting rid of them. And I mean, they don't have rules for them still, but now they've made Terminators so generic that you can use whatever pattern of Terminator armor you want to, and it all works out. So you can still just run them as normal Terminators. Oh yeah, there you go. I don't know if you'd want them to get Legends rules. Maybe, I don't know. Because if they get legended, then I'm sure somebody out there might give you a hard time about trying to use them if you were trying to represent them as, you know, regular Terminators in a match play game. Not that a short explanation, a quick, oh yeah, these are just regular Terminators wouldn't suffice, but you never know. They would look really cool, though. You should just get tired of looking at normal Terminators all the time. You want to go back. I had a whole bunch of Cataphracti ones I got in some of the old starter sets. I think I picked up a few of them from Betrayal at Calth. That was a lot of fun. Not the Betrayal, but you know, having those models back then. I'm getting all the spots here. My gaming groups have peculiar eyes. They pay attention to all the little details, and they will ridicule me. All right. I'll get my next brown color out too and do all the browns at the same time. For my punchier browns, and details that I like to be noticed a little bit more than something like the boots, I'll base them with Mournfang. This is going to be just like a nice tangy kind of brown color by the time we're done with these base coats. I think the only thing I'm painting with this is going to be the belt and the holster. You don't need an awful lot of it, so just got some on my brush straight from the pot. You'll notice it's way brighter. Probably too bright for the model, but that's okay. We're gonna wash this down with the Rhinox hide and darken it up a little. Give it some flavor. Really tan that hide. sure we don't paint over any of those other details. Forget the bottom. Right. You got something big in your meta to blow up with the Shadow Sword? Get my super small brush for the belt. Don't want to accidentally paint over any of the black. Talking about that Land Raider makes me want to bust mine out again. Maybe I'll play that this weekend. If anybody's interested in watching, I paint on Wednesdays and play on Sundays. Try to start early in the day, 1 p.m. EST. And when I can, I try to put someone on the schedule to come on over and have a seat on the Crimson bench, get learned a lesson or two. I was going to play my guard. Maybe I'll do my Space Marines. We'll see. That is live streamed here as well. And if you're not able to make the live stream and you still want to watch it, the entire thing gets uploaded to YouTube. Admittedly, there's not a whole lot of editing done on it right now. That's because I'm still figuring that part out. Get a Mastodon. Yeah. I'll go down to the corner store. Hold on 1 second. If I had one, I'd play one. I think the closest I've got is, I've got a Gorgon. Not as big as a Mastodon, but still pretty big vehicle. And put a little bit more wallet in my wet palette. Wow, water in my wet palette. I don't have any other browns to paint here. I do forget that there are little belts and buckles around his backpack. Easy to miss. There we go. And a little one down here. back over and do one more little base coat with the Morn Thing brown on the belt. About to darken it up with Agrax Earthshade. I'm going to do the same thing with the Rhinox hide on the boots too. The boots are going to be super dark. Hello. How can I help you, stranger? There we go. Nope, not putting dogs on the camera, sorry. Come to the Midnight Bench. You can find those there. This is Agrax Earthshade. It's a paint pot, if you didn't know. It's going on my model. We're gonna do this over all the browns that we just painted. Don't want to leave it on too thick, just want to tint the brown, darken it up a little. And we'll get those boots. Be some really, really dark boots. They're almost going to look black. That's okay. We're going to do an edge highlight color on them. That's going to bring out all the details on it again and give it back its visual interest. You can tell that they have been worn. These boots were made for walking, and that's just what they did. Walked all over the corpses of the enemy of the Emperor, right? That's all a Commissar would walk over. Not his own soldiers or anything. Why would he do that? I'm still waiting for you, Disaster, to build your models. What gives, huh? I want to see them. Are they real? Were they ever real? Just a hoax. All right. Browns are washed. I'm going to highlight. Well, not yet, actually. We just have to give it just a little bit more time to dry out. But I'm going to highlight the Rhinox hide with the Mornfang brown that I used to base that tangy, punchy brown with earlier. So it's one of the things that I really like about the color scheme I've got for my Kriegsmen is that each of the colors that are in the same color grouping, they're all base coats and highlights for one another. So I only really use about 100 colors. Who am I kidding? There's still so many. There's still so many colors. I do it to myself. I must like it though, you know. I haven't stopped. Blow on those boots. You just want to go in, paint the tip of the toe, the Folds in the front. You really don't have to do a lot for the boots. Right. Ooh, I did forget a little spot of yellow somewhere, my bad. Just going to use the Uriel yellow for it. There's a small band across the top of his cap, just over the visor. Just got to be very careful. There we go. Okay. What was base coated with the Mournfang Brown, I'm going to now highlight with Scrag Brown. I'm going to use Scrag Brown 2 to try to paint little folds of wear and tear in the leather. Don't need a lot on the palette. There we go. Just paint the edge of this holster. What's funny is you guys probably see this in better detail than I do in the camera. How's it looking so far? Am I doing it right? Right. It's done with the belt on the back. Now we can paint our stress lines. Very faint. Just the tip. Wherever we think the most tension and stress on the belt would be. There we go. Okay, we're good with our browns. Make sure we're done with all of our non-metallics. We are not. I do need to do his eye. For his very, very tiny little goggle eyes, I like to make my Krieg a little more menacing. Going to base coat it with corn red. Nice dark, almost purple red color. You gotta get in there just the right angle. We don't want to cover up the yellow, and it's okay if we get some on the goggle itself. So we're gonna paint that later. Nailed it. First time. Look at that. Just wonder if you can see it. There you go. Ooh, we did his first service ribbon in red. He's got a second one next to it, it looks like. What color should we do that one in? I painted green on the other guy. Ooh. I'm gonna do it in blue. I'll base coat it with Sotek green. Gotta find it somewhere in there. There it is. And very carefully paint it without covering up anything else. Just a little bit of something different to break up all the black and red. And once it dries, I will do a little edge highlight on it with Baharoff blue. Take this straight from the pot and put it down on my palette. And drill it around a little bit, get it nice and wet. I want it to be a little thinner than it. that came out the pot. Don't want it to make a mess. The blue should be dry now. Small little hair on the tip. There you go. A tiny little edge highlight. All right. Back to the eye. Evil Sun Scarlet is the next color over the corn red. Just going to try to put a little blob in the center. There we go. Very hard to see. And last for the eyes is the smallest possible dot of Fire Dragon Bright. There we go. Looks like he's looking right at you. Okay. We're entirely good on the non-metallic, so now we can do those. I get done with all of my normal non-metallic paints first because I do not want the metallic plates that are in the paint to dilute my water cup. I still use two separate water cups for this reason, so I have a dirty one for getting most of the paint and everything off the brush, and then a second, cleaner one to get whatever might not have come off the first cup and the second one. It also makes this a great place to pull water from, the clean cup, or if you just need to wet the brush again, if you use multiple brushes. So we'll start with lead belcher first. We'll get all the metallics out of the way. Silvers. There she is. Isn't she great? Don't need a lot for this model. Now, we're going to take the lead belcher and we are going to paint it over what is going to be gold as well. If I'm painting silver first on something you're then going to paint gold, makes it a lot easier to paint the gold over top of it. You need less layers, so we're just going to dot the buttons on the chest. Some to the side we'll get in there later with the smaller brush. And we'll go over the Aquila necklace across the breastplate. The Aquila itself will be gold, but we're going to do the necklace it rests on in silver. Get the respirator in silver as well. I try, you know, I'm pretty good, I think. People tell me I'm pretty good. Make sure we push him down nice and good on the... There we go, and the Stumpy looks like he's getting ready to fall off on me. So we've got his necklace as well as the wraparound to the respirator on his back. Now I'll get my finer detail brush. I'm going to do those buttons in the recesses of his jacket, as well as the Aquila on his helmet. And one or two of these little pendants here. We'll actually do the blue one in silver. There we go, very tiny detail. The other one's going to be in gold as well, so we're just going to paint that in silver too. We'll also touch up here on the band across his shoulder and the small little circle. The center of the pauldron. Right. We can also do the little belt buckle. And I think there's two small belt buckles on these straps up here. Possibly small details. Nailed it, I think. I don't know. It's too small to see. Who's looking? There's little side buttons. And a little cross poking out from behind his jacket too. You don't need to paint the whole entire thing in silver, as you can't really see most of it from any other direction from the front. And having primed it in black really helps out a lot with occluding details you wouldn't have painted otherwise. After the Aquila on the helmet. Only really going to do one base coat of silver on the parts that are going to be painted gold. All right, we'll get our known oil. Do I want to know what the 50-50 rule is? That sounds a little scary. We don't want to put a whole lot of wash on it, just enough to fill in those recesses. It's going to dirty the known oil up a little, the lead belcher up a little bit, but that's okay. We're going to hit the entire model with a satin varnish after the fact, and that should help it look just a little bit better. Just a smidge on that one pendant and on the cross. Beautiful. And a dot on the top of the shoulder too. There we go. Didn't put any of it over some of the other silver painted parts because we're going to be going with those with gold. That's next. But you know what? I'm gonna do one more little silver spot right here. We're just gonna do the bottom of the holster with the silver. Make it look all nice and snazzy. Oh, 50% good from 50 foot away? Yeah, if I were looking at these from 50 foot away, I don't know. I'd have a lot of questions. Why are my models so far away? What do you mean? You can't see it from over there? Just touch it with the known oil a little bit. That's it. Put that away now. You know what you did, known oil? We're onto the gold now. I use Retributor armor for all my gold needs. I always found that I needed multiple layers of Retributor armor to get it to actually stick, but laying down silver first has always made it a lot easier. Gives it the shiny sheen, first of all, because all Retributor armor really is lead belcher, but they put yellow instead of silver. Or, I mean, they put yellow in it. That's really about it. So I think I'm going to give one of these medals, this one in the middle. There's also incredibly small Achillas atop of these pendants, too. Looking good, Commissar. Alright, looks so much better already, and there's only one coat on it. Do the Aquila on the chest to make sure to avoid the silver around it and of the necklace itself. And then we'll do the cap. We're in the home stretch. Right, what else looks good in gold? Wash our brush out real quick and do a second coat of the gold. Oop, almost forgot the gold up here on top of the pauldrons too. Right. I like to give my golds a nice, like, rose gold tint to them. I shade mine with Reichland Flush Shade. Find it gives it just the perfect little tint. That way when you highlight it with the next color that we use, it makes it look so nice and like regal, old. And make sure we just get it on the gold. Alright, now our gold is looking rich and old, full of character. And close up the Reichland Flesh Shade. And then we'll spin up Liberator Gold. And I use this for my, just to dot edge highlight, not even edge highlight, but just dot the most raised and peak surfaces of the gold that just painted. Very, very, very little dots. You don't put a lot on it. Put too much on it, it's going to make it look weird. Ask me how I know. Just a little bit. You really don't need a lot. All right. Now we're finished with the gold. We can go to the one hand. I forgot the silver on the gun. I knew I was going to do it. It's got a little magazine on it. I still have lead belcher on my pellet. Just go in there and do that real quick. How could I forget? What am I doing here? And a little button in the back too. So quiet. What happened? How's everybody doing so far? It's good to get up and walk around every now and then. Whew. Okay. I'm going to very carefully paint lead belcher onto the grip of the las pistol without painting his fingers. get this from underneath. All right, looking good. We'll put a dab of Nuln Oil on it too. Bring back some of that detail in the magazine. Or las pack, I guess, technically. There we go. Okay. To check out my little recipe list real quick here, I've got one very small spot to paint, as I have a distinct metallic color for the Krieg armor plating. That is different from the lead belcher. It's very dirty and I like it. I base it with iron hand steel. And it's just here on the pistol. A little hand guard. Once that dries, it gets Agrax Earth Shade. There she is again. Agrax Earth Shade, the shade. It's in the name. Just want to brown it up a little. Now we're going to shade it again. Woo! This time with Black Templar. We're going to thin it down a little bit. Put it on our wet palette. Take some water. Really thin it down a lot. We really don't want to cover up any of what we painting and test it on my... It's good enough. We just don't want to leave it on there. The big old blob. Perfect. Just to darken it up a little bit more. And the last color on our palette is Storm Host Silver. We'll be using this to highlight the silver, as well as what we had just done. And then we're done. We'll have to varnish them and the painting is finished. Edge highlight those silvers first. Right here on the outside. Get a little cross hidden back here. Let's go over all these little respirator rings very quickly. There we go. Dab on the shoulders. What else are we missing? Do a little bit here on the holster. Kind of dot down the center of the chest. There we go. And the ring around the eyes. All right, good enough. That's it for him, and what we have left is the last pistol. Little dot there. We'll edge highlight the armor plate too. And do like a faint little scratch, you know. And we're done. Now to varnish him up, I like to use satin for this. I use Vallejo's satin acrylic varnish. Give it a nice stir. Just need a little dot of it on the palette. We're going to thin it down a little bit too with clean water, because we want to do a couple of coats of this. Make sure we got it nice and covered and protected. Go from the top and work my way down. I know it might look like I'm ruining the model right now, but I'm not. This is going to dry clear and will help protect the model from touch and minor scratches, and really lock and seal all the paint and everything in too, so nothing kind of chips or falls off on its own. Not only that, but giving the entire model this satin varnish is going to tie all of the textures in together with one another, so you don't have glossy spots and matte spots in different locations, unless that's something that you want. I always find it looks a little nicer to have it all be good and uniform. That way you kind of take away the weird plasticky look of the metallics. Trying not to paint them to look like little toys. I actually do have a much bigger brush for this. Should be using that. Okay, go over and get the last pistol while he's drying. And while those are both drying, how's everybody doing? It's been nice having you here with me on the Crimson Bench tonight. Hope your seat's been comfortable. I do sometimes bust out the miniature hair dryer while waiting for this kind of stuff, so if you don't mind the noise. If you do get one of these for this, it's incredibly helpful if you're trying to paint on some type of time limit. Just make sure you find one that has a low heat or no heat option. Get the las pistol too. And we'll give them one more coat of the varnish. Gonna do one more little coat after this, but only in certain spots, and what I like to think of as like high action areas where you might pick the model up from, or somebody might touch it often. Really want to keep yourself from breaking any of your paint off of the model. You see it all the time. People have like spear tips or edges of weapons and helmets and heads that have nice little bald spots on them from people touching and handling the models all the time. Right. Another cut on the last pistol. We'll hit him with the hair dryer. and get the last pistol. And now for that one little final coat that I mentioned. I'm not going to thin this one down as much, but I'll probably pick them up a lot from the shoulders. Definitely going to want to get the top of the helmet, this cap, as well as any of the outermost edges. Okay. Take a little clip off the toothpick here I was using to hold the last pistol, and insert it into his wrist. And I'll find a nice little base to glue tacking to for now, until I've got more time to go to painting the bases on these guys. Oh, maybe that'll be Wednesdays, next Wednesdays, their bases. I got a little 28mm floating around here somewhere. All right, there he is. Very cool. But that's it for me tonight. Thank you for joining me here on the bench. Like I said before, we'll be playing on Sunday. We've got a little bit more of a casual game set up for Sunday. That is at 1 p.m. EST. Be there or be square. Either way, we'll save a seat. And look at the Instagram, or follow it. You know, follow me here. Follow me on the Instagram too. That's where I upload images of these finished models. That way you can actually see them in better detail than my little camera here can do. But thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time on the Crimson Bench.